Last year, my own parents sued me. Not joking. I got served court papers at my front door. Plaintiffs? My mother and father. They weren't suing a stranger. They were suing me for my sister's $48,000 debt. And when I refused to pay, they tried to legally trap me. So I did the only thing they never expected. I fought back. And by the time it was over, they were begging me to drop the case. Last year, my own parents sued me for $48,300. Not a joke. Not a threat. Actual court papers. Delivered to my front door like I was some criminal. I still remember the guy saying it. Flat voice. Zero emotion. You've been served. And just like that, my family stopped being my family. They became my opponents. People think betrayal comes from strangers, from business partners, from fake friends, from people you barely know. Nobody tells you it can come from the two people who taught you how to walk. The two people who called you son. The two people you trusted more than anyone else. Your parents. And when it does, it hits different. It doesn't hurt. It breaks something inside you. It was a normal Tuesday morning. Coffee. Half asleep. Phone in my hand. Then, knock, knock, knock. Not friendly. Not casual. Heavy. Official. The kind of knock that makes your stomach drop before your brain understands why. When I opened the door, a man in a gray jacket stood there holding an envelope. Daniel Carter? Yeah. He handed it over. You've been served. Then he walked away like he delivered pizza. Like he didn't just detonate my life. My hands felt cold opening it. You ever get that feeling when you already know something inside is bad? Yeah. That one. I scanned the page. Case number. Court address. Legal terms. Then my eyes landed on one line. And everything stopped. Plaintiffs. Robert Carter. Linda Carter. My parents. I actually laughed. Confused, stupid laugh. Like, okay, funny joke. Who set this up? But the more I read, the less funny it got. They were suing me for $48,300, plus legal fees.
Plus dommages.
The reason? Refusal to accept financial responsibility for immediate family debt. Family debt? What debt? Then I saw the name underneath. And suddenly, it all made sense. Emily Carter. My sister. Of course it was Emily. It was always Emily. Growing up, life in our house followed one simple rule. Emily gets protected. Daniel figures it out. She cried. Everyone rushed to her. I struggled. Be a man. She messed up. Excuses. I succeeded. Silence. After a while, you stop competing. Because you realize you were never in the same race. She was the daughter. I was the backup plan. At 29, Emily still lived at home. No job. No savings. Just dreams. Every month a new one. Makeup artist. Streamer. Crypto trader. Online business coach. Reality? She just spent money. Credit cards. Loans. Buy now, pay later garbage. And every time she crashed, my parents quietly bailed her out. Again. And again. And again. Until one day, they couldn't. 3 months ago, Dad called me. That fake calm voice he uses when he wants something. Son, your sister's in a little trouble. Temporary. We just need some help. Help. Funny word. In my family, help never meant support. It meant pay. Quietly. No questions. No repayment. Because family. Then he told me the number. The air literally left my lungs. Almost $50,000. Gone. Burned. Like it was nothing. And they expected me to fix it. Like I was some emergency credit card they kept in their wallet. For the first time in my life, I said no. Just one word. Calm. Simple. No. No yelling. No arguing. Just boundaries. And apparently, that was unforgivable. Because instead of respecting it, they took me to court. Their own son. Not a conversation. Not compromise. Not even disappointment. straight to a lawsuit, like I was a stranger who owed them money. Standing alone in my kitchen, lawsuit papers shaking in my hands, something finally clicked. It wasn't about family. It wasn't about helping Emily. It wasn't about love. To them, I wasn't their son anymore. I was just their last available payment method. And when the card declined, they tried to force the charge legally. I folded the papers slowly, set them on the table, stared at the names again. Mom, Dad, plaintiffs. Should have hurt more. But instead, I felt something else. Something colder, calmer, dangerous. Okay, I whispered. You want to play this game? Fine, let's play. But if they thought dragging me into court would scare me into paying, they had no idea who they just picked a fight with. And by the time this was over, they wouldn't just lose the case. They'd regret ever treating me like the villain in their story. Because if they wanted a legal battle, I was about to give them one they'd never forget. People think favoritism is obvious, like parents saying it out loud. We love her more, but that's not how it works. It's quieter, softer, sneakier, and somehow that makes it worse. Because you can't prove it. You just feel it. Every single day. In our house, nobody ever said Emily was the favorite. They didn't have to. Life showed me. When I was 10, I asked Dad for a bike. Nothing fancy, just something cheap so I could ride with the kids on our street. He didn't even look up from the TV. Maybe next year. Money's tight. So I said okay. 2 weeks later, Emily got a brand new iPad. Early birthday gift. Baby. Same month. Same tight money. That was the first time something felt off. Middle school. I walked into the kitchen holding my report card like it was a trophy. Straight A's. Honor roll. I was proud. Like actually proud. Mom glanced at it for 2 seconds. That's good. Don't get cocky. That was it. No hug. No smile. Just neutral. 3 days later, Emily got a participation trophy for some random dance thing. Mom threw her a mini party. Cake. Photos. Facebook post. So proud of my baby girl Redheart for showing up. That's when something clicked. Not anger. Not jealousy. Just confusion. Like, what am I doing wrong? And here's the messed up part about being a kid. You don't think, my parents are unfair. You think, something must be wrong with me. Maybe I'm not interesting enough. Maybe I'm not lovable enough. Maybe I'm just less. That kind of thinking sticks. For years. By high school, the roles were set. Emily was the fragile one. I was the responsible one. Sounds nice, right? It's not. Because fragile kids get protected. Responsible kids get used. Then came college. And that's when favoritism stopped being small and started costing real money. Dad sat me down like it was some business meeting. We can't afford your tuition. You'll have to take loans or get a job. So I did. 2 jobs. Night shifts. Classes half asleep. No implants. No help. 4 years of grinding. But I made it. Graduated debt-free. On my own. I thought maybe finally they'd be proud. A year later, Emily decided she wanted the college experience. Same parents. Same house. Same finances. Funny thing? Suddenly they could afford everything. Tuition, apartment, car, spending money, all paid. No job, no loans, nothing. When I asked Dad how that made sense, he said something I'll never forget. Your sister needs more support than you. You're stronger. People think that sentence is a compliment. It's not. It means she matters more. You can suffer quietly. After that, I stopped expecting anything from them. Stopped asking. Stopped hoping. Because hoping just made it hurt more. Years passed, and our lives went in completely opposite directions. Emily kept quitting everything she started. Jobs, classes, plans. Every month a new dream. Every month another failure. And every failure somehow became my parents' emergency. Meanwhile, I built my life quietly. 2 jobs, tiny apartment, used car, no help. Everything I had, I earned myself. No one rescued me. No one paid my bills. And honestly, I liked it that way, because at least it was mine. But then something started happening. Every few months, my phone would ring, and before I even answered, I already knew. It was Mom. Same soft voice, same fake casual tone. "Hey honey, can you help your sister out a little?" A little meant money. Always money. Gas, rent, credit cards. Just until next month. Next month never came. And stupidly, I kept sending it. Because part of me still wanted to be a good son. Still wanted them to finally say, "We're proud of you." Looking back now, I wasn't their son. Not really. I was insurance. The backup plan. The responsible one. The guy who'd clean up Emily's mess every single time. Because Daniel handles things. Daniel fixes things.
Daniel Pays.
Daniel doesn't complain. Until one day, Daniel said no. And that tiny word,
Non.
that harmless, simple word, shattered everything. Because suddenly, their safety net was gone. And Emily's biggest disaster yet was already waiting. Not a small bill. Not rent. Not a little help. Something way worse. The kind of number that makes parents panic. The kind that makes people desperate. The kind of number that makes them look at their own son like he owes them. And that debt, that wasn't just money. It was the reason my own parents would eventually drag me into court. The call came on a Thursday night. 10:47 p.m. Too late for small talk. Too late for just checking in. When your phone lights up that late, it's never good news. And when I saw Mom's name, my stomach dropped instantly. I just stared at it ringing. Because every time she called this late, cost me something. Money, time, energy, guilt, sometimes all 4. It rang again and again. So I picked up. "Hey Mom." Her voice was soft. Too soft. "Hi honey. Are you busy?" That sentence alone told me everything. Nobody asks that unless they're about to ruin your night. "What happened?" I asked. A small sigh. "It's your sister." Of course. She started talking fast. Too fast. Like speed could soften the damage. Some bills piled up, and a few cards. And there were penalties, and collections started calling. My eyes closed. Same story. Different disaster. "Mom," I said, cutting her off. "How much?" Silence. Long. Heavy. I could actually hear her breathing. "Don't be mad." "Mom, how much?" Another pause. Then she whispered it. Like saying it quietly might shrink it. 48,000. The room went quiet. $48,000. Not a mistake. Not bad luck. That's the kind of number you ruin your life with. "How?" I asked. "She just had a hard year." "No," I said. "That's not a hard year. That's destruction." Mom tried explaining again. I stopped her halfway. I didn't need details. I already knew the type. Maxed cards. Loans. Collections. The kind of debt you don't accidentally fall into. Then came the real reason for the call. The tone shift. Soft. Careful. Guilty. "We were hoping you could help her. Just this once." There it is. The script. Every parent must get the same handbook. Just this once. Family helps family. You're doing well. She needs you. "Help how?" I asked even though I knew. "Well, you have savings, and she's your sister. Meaning, you pay." She breathes. Problem solved. I rubbed my face. 48,000. They weren't asking for help. They were handing me the bill. Like, "Here, you're the responsible one. Fix it." Like my entire existence was just cleanup duty. "Did she ask me herself?" I said. "No." "She's embarrassed." I almost laughed. Of course she was. Embarrassment is easier than responsibility. Dad took the phone next. His voice wasn't soft. It was firm, businesslike. Son, sometimes family steps up. This is one of those times. Not please, not can you, just expectation. Like I owed them. And something inside me finally snapped into place. Clear, cold, calm. They didn't see me as their son. They saw me as their solution. No, I said. Quiet, final, silence. Like the word didn't compute. What do you mean no? Dad asked. I mean I'm not paying 50 grand for a mess I didn't create. She's your sister. And I'm your son. Dead silence. You could feel the air change. Like we'd crossed some invisible line you can't uncross. Mom tried crying. Dad tried guilt. After everything we've done for you, that one almost made me laugh. Because what exactly had they done? Besides teach me how to survive alone? I love you guys, I said. But this isn't my responsibility. She needs to fix her own life. Dad's voice went cold. Colder than I'd ever heard it. You're being selfish. Selfish. For not paying someone else's $48,000. Wild. Then he said something that should have scared me more than it did. Slow. Measured. If you won't help your family, don't expect us to treat you like family either. That one stuck. It didn't sound emotional. It sounded like a decision. Like a door quietly locking. We hung up like strangers. No love you. No good night. Just click. For a few days, everything was quiet. Too quiet. No calls. No texts. Nothing. Like the calm before a storm. I figured they were just mad. They'd cool off. We'd talk later. That's how families work, right? They fight. They forgive. They move on. Yeah. That's what I thought too. 3 weeks later, someone knocked on my door. Gray jacket. Blank face. Envelope in his hand. You've been served. And just like that,
No.
had turned into a lawsuit. Getting sued by your own parents is one thing. But you know what's worse? Realizing they didn't just want your money. They wanted your reputation too. At first, I figured it would stay private. Just paperwork. Lawyer. Court dates. Ugly. But quiet. Family fights stay inside the family. Right? Yeah. I was wrong. 3 days later, my phone started buzzing. Non-stop. Texts. Missed calls. Notifications stacking over each other. Group chats lighting up like it was Christmas. For a second, I thought someone died. That's the only time phones blow up like that. Then I opened the first message. Aunt Kelly. Daniel. I didn't expect this from you. Your parents are heartbroken. Heartbroken? What? Another one. Cousin Mark. Bro, why would you abandon your own sister like that? Abandon? Then, family comes first. Money isn't everything. Can't believe you do this to them. Message after message. Like I'd committed some crime. I just stared at my screen thinking, what the hell are they talking about? So I called Mark. Dude, what exactly did Mom tell you? He hesitated. Bad sign. She said Emily's drowning in debt and you refuse to help. Even though you're doing fine financially. That's it. I asked. Yeah. What else would there be? Did she tell you they're suing me? Silence. Wait. What? She's literally taking me to court. 48 grand. Lawsuit. Legal action. Long pause. They didn't say anything about that. Of course they didn't. That's when it hit me. They weren't telling the truth. They were telling the victim version. The cruel son abandoned us version. The we're desperate parents trying to save our daughter version. They weren't just mad. They were building a case. Socially. Turning everyone against me first. So when the lawsuit happened, no one would question it. Everyone would already think, yeah, Daniel's selfish. And it worked. Fast. Group chats went silent when I typed. Invitations stopped coming. People who used to joke with me suddenly sounded formal. Cold. Like I'd become someone else overnight. I went from the responsible one to the heartless one. Just like that. All because I said one word. No. For a couple nights, I'll be honest, it got to me. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking, am I wrong? Should I just pay it and end this? Is this what a good son does? Then I opened the lawsuit papers again. Read the number. $48,300.
Plus fait. Plus damage.
They weren't asking for help. They were trying to legally force me, their own son. And just like that, the guilt burned off, replaced by something colder, clearer, anger. The next morning I called a lawyer, not some friendly family guy, a real one, the kind you hire when things get ugly. Gray hair, sharp eyes, didn't smile, didn't shake my hand, just took the folder and started reading, silently, like a judge deciding a sentence. 10 minutes, no reaction, no small talk, just pages flipping. Finally he looked up. You didn't co-sign anything?
No.
No written agreement?
No guarantee.
Nothing. He leaned back in his chair. For the first time, tiny smirk. Then they don't have a case. I blinked. What? You're not legally responsible for an adult sibling's debt, he said. They're trying to pressure you. Emotionally, not legally. After weeks of stress, that sentence felt unreal. So, what happens now? He closed the folder calmly. We fight. And if they push harder, we push back. Push back. Something about those words felt different. Not defensive.
Offensive.
Walking out of that office, I felt lighter, because suddenly it wasn't poor helpless son versus parents. It was a legal battle. And legally, they had nothing. All those years they controlled me with guilt, with family, with obligation, because I was the quiet kid, the responsible one, the one who never argued. But they forgot something. I wasn't that kid anymore. And if they wanted to drag me into court, fine, we'd go to court. But I wasn't showing up scared. I was showing up prepared. Because this wasn't about surviving anymore. It was about teaching them something. And for the first time since this started, I wasn't defending myself. I was starting to plan. Court doesn't look dramatic like movies. No shouting. No dramatic music. No gasps. It's quieter than that. Fluorescent lights. Gray walls. Cheap chairs. The kind of place where lives quietly fall apart between coffee breaks. My hearing was at 9 o'clock. I got there early. Sat alone. Cold room. Stale air. Everyone pretending they weren't scared. Then the doors opened. And they walked in. Mom, Dad, Emily. Together. Laughing. Talking. Like they were heading to brunch. Not court. Not a lawsuit. Not to face their own son. That hit harder than anything. Because they didn't look upset. They didn't look conflicted. They looked comfortable. Like this was normal. Like I was just paperwork. Mom noticed me first. Her smile vanished instantly. She whispered something to Dad. All three of them looked at me the same way. Not sad. Not guilty. Judging. Like I'd betrayed them. They didn't come over. Didn't say hi. Didn't even nod. Just sat across the room like strangers. Or enemies. My lawyer arrived a minute later. Same cold expression. Didn't smile. Didn't shake my hand. Just sat down and opened the file. You good? He asked. Yeah, I lied. Stay quiet. I'll handle it. Then I noticed something worse. People kept walking up to my parents. Hugging Mom. Patting Dad's shoulder. Whispering like someone died. And every few seconds, someone looked at me. Dirty looks. Disappointed looks. Like I was trash. I overheard one woman murmur, "Poor things." Their own son. My chest tightened. Poor things? That's when it clicked. They told everyone. But not the truth. Their version. The selfish son abandoned us story. The we're desperate parents story. The heartless brother story. No lawsuit. No court papers. No $48,000. Just me being the villain. And it worked. Group chats had already gone silent. Invitations stopped coming. Now even strangers looked at me like I'd committed some crime. All because I said no. For a second, old me almost felt ashamed. Like maybe I really was the bad guy. Maybe I should just pay and end it. Maybe peace costs money. Then I remembered the number. $48,300. And the guilt burned away fast. Emily walked past me toward the water fountain. First time we were face to face. Close. After everything. She stopped. You're really going through with this? She said. Going through with what? This court thing. You're seriously stressing Mom out over money? Money. Like it was $20. You spent it, I said. She shrugged. I was figuring things out. Everyone struggles. 48,000 isn't struggling. It's reckless. She rolled her eyes. You're so dramatic. You always were. That's when it hit me. She wasn't scared. Wasn't guilty. Didn't feel bad. Not even a little. Just annoyed. Like I was inconveniencing her life. Then she said it. Casual. Like it didn't matter. Relax. Dad already said the house will cover it anyway. I froze. What? She blinked. Realized. Too late. Nothing. What do you mean the house? Forget it. And she walked off. Fast. But my brain wouldn't let it go. The house? What house? My stomach dropped. The house was their only real asset. Paid off. Everything they owned was in that place. So what did she mean, cover it? Sell it? Mortgage it? Or something worse? My lawyer leaned toward me. They've got nothing legal, he whispered. This is just guilt tactics. Don't worry. I nodded. But I wasn't listening anymore. Because something felt wrong. Not emotional wrong. Strategic wrong. 2 years ago, Dad asked me to sign some paperwork. Said it was just estate updates. Nothing important. I didn't even read it. Just signed. Trusted him. My chest tightened. Hard. After court ended, I turned to my lawyer. Hypothetically, I said, trying to sound calm, if someone changed property ownership without explaining it properly, would that show up somewhere? He looked at me carefully. Why? I think they might have done something with the house. His expression didn't change, but his voice got sharper. Then we checked today. Walking out of that courthouse, everything felt different. Before, this was emotional. Family drama, guilt, arguments. Now, it felt calculated, planned, like moves on a chessboard. And if they really tried to use my name, my signature, or tie me to something without telling me, then this wasn't just a lawsuit. This was a setup. And setups? They don't get forgiveness. They get payback. For the first time, I wasn't thinking about defending myself. I was thinking about something else. Something colder. Smarter.
Permanent.
If they wanted to play dirty, maybe it was time I stopped playing nice. I didn't go home after court. Didn't eat. Didn't scroll my phone. Couldn't even think straight. One sentence kept looping in my head. Over and over. The house will cover it. The house. That wasn't just property. That was everything they had. 30 years of payments. Dad's pride. Mom's forever home. They'd rather die than sell it. So why did Emily sound so calm? So sure? Like the debt was already handled? Something didn't add up. And when things don't add up, someone's hiding something. My lawyer didn't waste time. We drove straight to the county records office. Ugly government building. Beige walls. Flickering lights. Smelled like old paper. The kind of place where secrets sit quietly in cabinets. He requested the ownership history. Then we waited. 10 minutes. 15. Every second stretching longer than it should. You think they sold it? I asked. He shook his head. If they sold it, you'd know. Then what? He glanced at me. Something with your name on it. My chest tightened. Because suddenly, I remembered. 2 years ago. Sunday dinner. Dad sliding papers across the table. Just estate planning stuff. Sign here. I didn't read. Didn't question. Just signed. Because they were my parents. God, I signed. The clerk returned with copies. Stamped. Official. My lawyer flipped through them quietly, page after page. Then, he stopped. Wow. Never a good word from a lawyer. What? I asked. He slid the paper to me. Look. Property transferred into joint ownership. Robert Carter, Linda Carter, and Daniel Carter. Me. My signature sat at the bottom. 2 years old. Same day. Same pen. Same trust. They added you to the deed, he said. My brain started racing. Why? So legally, you're tied to the property. And then it clicked. Not slowly. Not gently. Like a punch. If they borrowed against the house. If they took loans. If they used it as collateral. My name was attached too. My stomach dropped. Hard. This wasn't random, was it? He looked me straight in the eye.
No.
Pause. That's planning. Planning. Not panic. Not desperation. Planning. Suddenly everything lined up. Emily's confidence. My parents' weird calmness. The lawsuit. The pressure. This wasn't family drama anymore. This was manipulation. Calculated. Cold. They used me, I muttered. Looks like it. He kept flipping. Then stopped again. Here. Another document. Recent. Home equity loan. Amount? $48,000. I actually laughed. Dry. Empty. Of course it matched. Of course. They already used the house, I said. Yep. Then why sue me? He didn't hesitate. To make you pay them back. And just like that, the whole plan became crystal clear. Step 1. Add me to the deed quietly. Step 2. Borrow against the house. Step 3. Pay off Emily's mess. Step 4. Sue me to recover the money. Not help. Not love. Not family. A reimbursement strategy. For a second, I felt nothing.
No anger.
Anger is loud. This was different. Quieter. Colder. Sharper. Clarity. For the first time since this started, I said slowly, they're not the ones with leverage anymore, are they? My lawyer closed the folder. Tiny smirk. Nope. Pause. If anything, you are. Fraud. Misrepresentation. Undisclosed documents. If they tricked me into signing, that wasn't just shady. That was illegal. Walking out of that building, something shifted. All those years they controlled me with guilt, with family, with obligation. But now, they'd made a mistake. A legal one. Paper trail. Proof. They thought they were trapping me. They didn't realize. They just handed me leverage. And leverage wins wars. For the first time, I wasn't worried about defending myself. I was thinking about something else. Something colder. Smarter.
Permanent.
If they wanted to play this like a game, fine. But I wasn't reacting anymore. I was planning. And this time, I wasn't the one cornered. They were. It's funny how fear works. When you don't understand what's happening, everything feels huge, overwhelming, like you're drowning. But the second you understand the game, fear disappears. Instantly, it gets replaced by something else. Control. Walking out of the records office, I didn't feel angry. Didn't feel hurt. I felt calm. Scary calm. Because now I finally saw the board. And once you see the board, it's just a game. My lawyer stopped beside his car. So, he asked, what do you want to do? A week ago, I would have said, fix it, settle, make it stop. Now, I want to win. He studied me for a second, then nodded. Then we stop reacting, he said. Pause. We make them react. That line stuck with me. Make them react. All my life I reacted. Emily messed up, I paid. Parents called, I helped. Guilt, I folded. I was the cleanup crew, the safety net. the quiet backup plan. Not anymore. That night we reviewed everything connected to the house. Signatures, dates, loans. And the more we dug, the uglier it got. Dad hadn't added me for estate planning. He made me co-owner. Then weeks later, took a home equity loan. Same amount as Emily's debt. Same timeline. Same everything. Not panic. Not coincidence. Choreography. You know what this is, right? My lawyer asked. Fraud. Close enough, he said. Misrepresentation at least. If you push this, they're the ones in trouble. For the first time since this nightmare started, I smiled, because finally, it was fair. So what's the move? I asked. He didn't hesitate. We countersue. That word hit different. Countersue. Not defend. Tech. For what? Fraud. Misrepresentation. Damages. Legal fees. He closed the folder. And we freeze the property. I looked at him. Freeze it. If ownership's disputed, they can't sell it. Can't refinance. Can't touch it. And suddenly, I saw it. Their precious house. Their biggest asset. Locked. Because of me. The irony was perfect. All those years they treated me like an emergency credit card. Now I was the lock on their bank account. Do it, I said. Paperwork got filed that same day. Fast. Sign. Stamp. Done. By evening, it was official. Next morning, my phone rang. Dad. I stared at the screen for a few seconds. Not nervous, just curious. Then I answered. Hello. His voice wasn't cold anymore. Wasn't commanding. It was tight. Stressed. Daniel, what is this notice about the house? Ah, so they got it. Good. What notice? I said calmly. Don't play dumb. We can't access anything. What did you file? I leaned back in my chair. For once, I wasn't the one explaining myself. They were. My lawyer said I should protect my financial interests, I said. Since my name's on the house and all. Silence. Heavy breathing. You didn't need to do this, he muttered. Didn't need to. Not shouldn't. Didn't need to. Interesting. Funny, I said. That's exactly what I said about the lawsuit. Long pause. I could almost hear him pacing, calculating, panicking, trying to figure out when he lost control. Daniel, we're family, he said. There it was. That word. Only used when they want something. No, I said quietly. Family doesn't trick each other into signing legal documents. Nothing. No comeback. You added me to the deed. Took a loan. Then sued me. I continued. That's not family. That's strategy. His voice cracked. We were just trying to protect your sister. At my expense. Silence. For the first time in my life, my dad didn't have an answer. Drop the countersuit, he said finally. Let's just talk. Now he wants to talk. Not when they filed. Not when they lied. Now, when it hurts them. We'll talk, I said calmly. After you withdraw the lawsuit. Click. I hung up first. Not him. Me. I just sat there for a moment. Heart steady. Hands still. No guilt. No fear. For 28 years, they controlled the game. Now, it was my turn. Fear looks different on different people. Some cry. Some yell. Some pretend everything's fine. My parents, they called. Over. And over. And over. After that first call with Dad, my phone exploded. By noon, I had 20 missed calls. Mom, Dad, Emily, even relatives who hadn't spoken to me in weeks. Funny how that works. When I was the villain, silence. The second I fought back, suddenly everyone remembered my number. I didn't answer. Not immediately. Let them sweat. For once, let them feel ignored. Voicemails stacked up fast. Mom crying. Dad demanding answers. Emily texting question marks like I owed her something. The same people who dragged me to court, now acting like I'd betrayed them. By afternoon, the story started cracking. Because banks don't whisper. When you freeze property ownership, letters go out, notifications go out, paper trails happen, facts happen, and facts don't lie for you. The family group chat lit up again. Confused messages. What's this ownership dispute? Why is the house restricted? Why didn't anyone tell us? So now you want details. Interesting. I didn't explain anything. Didn't defend myself. Didn't argue. Because for the first time, I didn't have to. Reality was doing it for me. That night, someone knocked on my door. Fast. Desperate. Mom. She looked smaller. Hair messy. Eyes red. Hands shaking. Not angry. Not dramatic. Just scared. Daniel, what is happening? She asked.
No acquiesctions.
Just fear. Pure fear. You tell me, I said calmly. We can't refinance. The bank flagged the house. They said ownership dispute. Why would you do that to us? To us? Funny. You sued me, I said. You forced me into court. What did you expect me to do? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Nothing came out. We were just trying to help your sister, she whispered. By tricking me into signing legal documents? Silence. She didn't deny it. Didn't even try. That silence told me everything. We were going to explain later. After I paid you back? I asked. She looked away. Answer enough. A year ago, this conversation would have broken me. Made me cry. Made me fold. Made me say, fine. I'll fix it. Now? Nothing. Just calm. Like talking to a stranger. Withdraw the lawsuit, I said. Then we talk. That's not fair. I almost laughed. Fair? After everything? Now we're talking about fair? She started crying again. Begging now. Please. Your father's freaking out. We could lose the house. And that's when it hit me. Clear as day. This wasn't revenge. This was consequences. I'm not doing anything to you, I said quietly. I'm just not saving you anymore. She had no answer. Because saving them had always been my job. And I'd just quit. Later, Emily called. First time she'd ever called me directly about money. Her voice wasn't cocky anymore. Just annoyed. Nervous. Can you just drop it? She said.
No, irraplia.
I'm done fixing your life. Silence. Then she hung up. That's when I realized something strange. For the first time ever, they weren't ordering me. They weren't guilt-tripping me. They weren't looking down on me. They were scared of me. Not because I yelled. Not because I threatened them. Because I stopped cooperating. Turns out, the most powerful thing you can do to people who use you is nothing. And now that they were panicking, they were going to make mistakes. And mistakes leave evidence. From now on, I wasn't reacting. I was collecting. I didn't have to attack them. That was the weird part. I didn't have to yell. Didn't have to defend myself. Didn't have to prove anything. All I had to do was stop protecting them. And the truth started leaking out on its own. Turns out, when a story is built on guilt and half-truths, it only takes one crack, one letter, one question, one person saying, wait, that doesn't make sense. By the third day after freezing the house, my phone buzzed. Not anger, not insults, confusion. Cousin Mark called. Hey, quick thing, he said. Your parents said the bank messed up. That true? Nope, I said. They sued me. I protected myself. Silence. They sued you? Yeah. They didn't tell anyone that. Yeah, I said. I figured. That was the first crack. Because now someone else knew the truth. And truth spreads fast in families. Way faster than lies. By evening, 3 different relatives messaged me asking for context. Funny. Last week nobody wanted my side. Now everyone wanted details. So I kept it simple. No ranting. No drama. Just facts. They added me to the house deed, took a loan, paid Emily's debt, then sued me. That's it. Because facts hit harder when you say them calmly. The replies came fast. Wait, what? They did what? That doesn't sound right. Yeah. Exactly. Paperwork doesn't cry. Paperwork doesn't guilt trip. Paperwork just exists. Cold. Objective. Damning. And it's really hard to look like a victim when legal documents say otherwise. By day 4, the family group chat went quiet again. But not the old silence. Not ignore Daniel's silence. This one felt awkward, like people realizing they backed the wrong team. Then Dad called. Careful voice. Too careful. What exactly are you telling people? He asked. Ah, so that's what this is about. Not the lawsuit. Not the house. Their image. The truth. I said. You're making us look bad. I almost smiled. I'm not making you look anything, I said calmly. You did that yourself. Silence. No argument. Because there wasn't one. Then came Emily. She showed up that night. No attitude. No eye rolls. Just tired. Mascara smeared. Hair messy. Like she hadn't slept. They're blaming me, she said. I waited. They keep fighting. Dad's yelling. Mom's crying. Everyone thinks this is my fault. It is your fault, I said. She flinched, like nobody had ever said that to her before. You could just fix this, she muttered. Same Emily, different tone, same expectation. I shook my head. No. I'm done fixing your life. Silence. Then she left. No comeback. No sarcasm. Nothing. And that's when it really hit me. This wasn't pressure anymore. This wasn't guilt. This wasn't manipulation. This was collapse. Because once the story breaks, once people start asking questions, once the perfect parent's image cracks, you can't glue it back together. They spent years controlling the narrative. Daniel's selfish. Daniel's cold. Daniel doesn't care about family. Now people were asking a different question. What kind of parents sue their own son? And that question, way more dangerous than anything I could have said. For the first time, I wasn't the problem in the family story. They were. And the best part? I didn't lift a finger. Because when you stop protecting people who hurt you, the truth does all the damage for you. They were panicking now, talking too much, explaining too much, making mistakes. And this time, I wasn't saving anyone. I was collecting. Desperate people don't fight. They negotiate. You'd think villains get louder when they're losing. They don't. They get quiet, careful, polite. 3 days after Emily left my apartment, Dad texted me. Not a call. A text. Can we meet? Just talk. No lawyers. I stared at it. When they sued me, they didn't say that. When they dragged me to court, they didn't say that. Now, no lawyers. Which meant one thing. They were scared of paper trails. I replied, lawyers stay. Or no meeting. 5 minutes later, fine. That fine told me everything. They weren't inviting me. They were surrendering. We met at a small cafe near their house. Neutral. Public. Safe. I got there first. Window seat. Coffee untouched. My lawyer beside me quiet, watching. Like a shark. They walked in together. Mom looked exhausted. Dad looked 10 years older. That confident head of the family energy? Gone. They sat. Awkward. Dad didn't waste time. He slid an envelope across the table. There it was. Straight to business. Good. We'll drop the lawsuit, he said quickly. If you remove the claim on the house. Ah, the deal. We just want things to go back to normal, Mom added. Normal. Meaning me paying for everything quietly. Funny definition. That's not a settlement, my lawyer said calmly. That's you asking him to give up leverage for free. Dad's jaw tightened. We're family. We shouldn't be doing this to each other. Family. That word only shows up when they need something. My lawyer leaned forward slightly. You misrepresented documents, tied him to debt, and sued him. If this goes to court, that won't go well for you. Dad swallowed. How bad? Very. Silence. Heavy. Final. Then Dad looked at me and said the one sentence I'd never heard from him before. What do you want? And that question, that's power. Because the person asking it already lost. I didn't rush. Didn't get emotional. Just calm. I want 3 things, I said. First, you withdraw the lawsuit. Immediately. They nodded fast. Second, you remove my name from everything tied to that house.
Date.
Loans. Permanently. A small hesitation. Then, okay. Third, you stop telling people I refuse to help you. Mom looked down. Ashamed. Good. You tell them the truth, I said. That you sued your own son. Silence. Long. Painful. That's humiliating, Dad muttered. I met his eyes. So was being served at my front door. He looked away first. Not me. Mom whispered. If we do all that, this ends? I thought about everything. The guilt, the pressure, the years of being the backup wallet. And I realized something simple. I didn't want revenge. I wanted freedom. Yes, I said. It ends. They signed. Right there. Hands shaking.
No arguments. No speeches.
Just signatures. Same way I signed their papers 2 years ago. Trusting them. Funny how life flips like that. Walking out of that cafe, I didn't feel victorious. Didn't feel angry. Didn't feel dramatic. Just light. Like someone finally took a weight off my chest. Because for the first time in my life, they weren't controlling me. They weren't using me. They weren't deciding my role. I decided. They didn't regret suing me because they loved me. They regretted it because I wasn't the easy target anymore. And they finally knew it. Nobody tells you what happens after you win. Movies end at the victory, the punch, the verdict, the big speech, cut to black. Real life doesn't work like that. Real life is quieter, almost normal. 2 weeks later, my lawyer forwarded me an email. Short, clinical, boring, case dismissed, no music.
No celebration.
Just 2 words. And somehow, that felt heavier than everything that came before. Then the paperwork followed. My name removed from the deed. Removed from the loan. Removed from everything. Legally. Permanently. For the first time in years. My signature wasn't tied to someone else's mess. I expected to feel something dramatic. Anger. Victory. Vindication. But honestly, just relief. Like putting down a weight you forgot you were carrying. The family slowly shifted too. Relatives sent awkward apologies. Group chats turned polite. Nobody asking for money. Nobody volunteering my help. Funny how respect shows up when boundaries do. Mom and Dad got quieter. Careful. Conversations stayed small. Weather. Health. Random stuff. Less control. Less pressure. More distance. It was strange, but peaceful. Emily moved back home. Of course. Turns out life gets expensive when no one's rescuing you. She picked up part-time jobs. Complained a lot. Same Emily. Just without a safety net. And weirdly, I didn't hate her. Didn't even feel angry. I just felt done. Like closing a tab that should have been closed years ago. For a long time, I thought I wanted revenge. Thought I wanted them embarrassed. Hurt. Sorry. But standing there months later, watching everything settle, I realized something simple. I never wanted revenge. I wanted freedom. Freedom from being the responsible one. Freedom from being the backup plan. Freedom from feeling like a wallet with a heartbeat. Freedom from guilt that was never mine. And the second I stopped saying yes to things that hurt me, everything changed. Not them. Me. That was the real win. One Sunday morning, Dad called. Nothing serious. Just small talk. Before hanging up, He said something I'd never heard in 28 years. I'm proud of you, son. Not because I paid for something. Not because I fixed something. Not because I sacrificed something. Just proud. And somehow, that hit harder than the lawsuit ever did. Because for the first time, he wasn't talking to an emergency fund. He was talking to me. Sometimes people ask if fighting back was worth it. The stress, the drama, the mess. Yeah. Because the day I stopped letting people use me was the day my life actually started feeling like mine. Family shouldn't feel like debt. Love shouldn't feel like obligation. Helping someone shouldn't mean destroying yourself. I didn't lose my family. I just stopped losing myself. And in the end, that was the only win that ever mattered.